We're back at the Rainier Beach Safeway in South Seattle, where the tents are going up because the members of the Boys and Girls Club Safe Passage, the Southeast Network Safety Net, are getting ready for the return of their Friday night gatherings, what they call a community healing space. For the first time since the shooting, it's been nearly a month, was on July 28th. 5 people were hurt, including 2 members of this group. So we're going to talk to them about how they're feeling about being back. All right, so we're back here with Marty Jackson. Marty, I think the big question is, how you feeling about being able to restart this community healing space?
Well, I'm feeling much better now. Now, this morning, I had a lot of anxiety this morning. I had to pray through it. But feeling really good being in space physically right now. There's just been, with the incident that occurred, I was a little concerned, more so about my team and just kind of how everybody was feeling coming back. Even though it's been, almost a month now. I think it's gone by kind of quickly. And you can't put a time limit on healing and recovery. And so I probably was more concerned about my team and about how they felt in space again. But I'm looking at them now, and they're doing what they always do, getting everything set up, getting everything together. So I'm feeling some peace, and I'm feeling good about all of the community coming together today. I'm seeing some of my colleagues and our partners who are part of other safety teams who have come to join us in solidarity today. So I'm feeling good about that. Feeling good that you all have come to, show face and contribute in your way of making sure that people know about what's happening today. So I feel good.
Is that concern for your team a big part of what prompted your anxiety?
Yes.
Okay.
And the concern comes around just, I've been in traumatic situations before, where there was a shooting and in space. So like coming back to the space, right? To do what you were doing when that happened is what was a big concern for me. And so I've just been kind of playing it by ear right now and just kind of watching, talking, seeing how anybody feels. Today was not mandatory. If there are folks who were not comfortable, even if they weren't in space, I wasn't going to tell them to come out here anyway, right? And I didn't want to project anything onto anyone as well. Everyone has their own requirements for safety, right? And so it was important for me that everybody on the team felt comfortable, everyone felt good about who's coming, and if you aren't coming, there's no judgment there either, right? And so that's kind of really what I wanted to ensure first before coming out here. I am excited about all of our partners who are joining us today, our faith-based community. Our faith-based community and they're actually over in the plaza. They did a prayer walk today for this event, and they'll be ending here shortly, so they'll be coming into space. So it's been an all hands on deck. Law enforcement is coming to support as well. They'll be in space, and so I'm really grateful is what I would say. I'm grateful for everyone coming. It's during these kinds of times when you need to feel that support, when you need to feel, we created this space for others to feel loved and to feel healed, right? We needed to feel some of that too. So I'm feeling the love from everyone. We have some public officials that'll be coming through today. Councilmember Gramai in particular will be speaking, and so and some members from my own team today. But we're looking forward to feeding people again. If you guys have ever been in this space, what has been more rewarding for me has people dancing and laughing and connecting. They bring their children here. The whole family's having a meal together. It's awesome to watch everyone just congregate and gather and connect with each other. Because this is the neighborhood. I grew up in this neighborhood, and that's what it used to be like. And so we get a piece of that here. And the hope is that this thing becomes contagious and it's in other neighborhoods. It spreads out throughout the whole rest of our neighborhood as well, and other parts of the city.
Jared,
can you tell me what the conversations have been like with your team, maybe immediately after last month, and then, in the lead up to this event this week?
I'll tell you that it was tough having conversations with the team throughout this entire process. And the tough part is this. I wasn't here when it happened. I was out of town when it happened, so you can only imagine getting a call from your director, who was one of the injured people who got shot, and called me after it happened. Like, not after it was over, like when he got shot, he called me. I was devastated, and I felt powerless because I wasn't here with my team. And so it's been difficult. Although it's been difficult, I think for me what's brought me some peace throughout this is really paying attention to the team, asking the team what they need, initiating some things, and when some of those things are asked for, that I can deliver on some of those things. I also think it's important that the team is a part of the decision-making process around bringing this back. Like, I had a whole conversation with the team when we were scheduling a date. I couldn't give you a date because I need to talk to them about a date first, right? They're the ones who are out here consistently. The rest of our team also comes out here, not all every Friday, but some of them do, right, to support. And so I think it was important for me to be sensitive, to be thoughtful, to prioritize them over the work, because they're a part of the work, right? And I think that us being able to get to this place, I actually probably would say, I think maybe I was a little surprised that it was sooner than later. Not to say that I didn't have any influence on that, but, you know, if, let's just say the whole team was like, nope, that's too soon, we can't do it, I would have canceled. Like, you wouldn't even saw flyers about this because it wouldn't have been announced. And so I do feel good about everybody coming back in this space today. I feel great about all the calls we've gotten from community and folks who want to support and who are coming to do so today. So it has been rough, but it's getting better. And I can't put an expiration on healing or recovery, right? But I do know this. I do know that through these kinds of situations, through adversity, just in my own personal life, right? I know that that's what builds character. And so my hope is that that builds character for us as a collective, as a team. And from that, I think that only greater things will happen from that. But I'm really happy today, specifically, all of the community response and who will be in space so that we can physically show, right? This should be an image for everyone that will send a message saying that we aren't giving up on this space, we aren't giving up on our community, we're not going to relinquish this sacred space that we all created together. It took a lot of time to establish that safety, and we're going to do everything we can to keep it safe. So,
what was the conversation like when you decided with your team that today was going to be the day, and kind of what was the reaction from your partners? What were they asking, and you know what was? I imagine that there was also a lot of support behind that.
Oh, absolutely. I think there were people who were really supportive, and everybody showed support in a different way, right? And there were folks who were upset because they were like, wait a minute, how are you going to do that, you know, with all the great stuff that's happening? And people showed, you know, I think there are different ways that people show that type of support. It definitely was a whole lot of phone calls and folks who were eager to support and come out and help. I think for my team, I had to slow some things down because I think it's important to also send the first message to your team, right, to my team, that you matter more than this event or more than this activation. And so for me, not having it was a message, at least that I wanted to send, that you're valuable, that what you do in this space matters, and that we can't do it without you. And so I think that as that was communicated through my actions, right, and I was sharing this with my partners, like, hey, I appreciate the support, I appreciate everyone being gung-ho and having great energy to want to continue this and to help. But I think my team needs the space right now to recover. They need the space right now to kind of sit with what's happened so that they can process their own trauma. And I think that as much as we can provide that kind of time for them, I think that's what made the difference in us being able to relaunch.
But it really does have that much value that it sounds like most everybody was ready to to bring it
everybody
back.
was all hands on deck. We'll help whatever you need, whatever needs to happen. We're there. Like, I think absolutely. Like, everyone in the community, like I said, our partners we work with. I've had, calls from our public officials as well, have called and have offered great support for whatever they can do to make sure this thing happens.
All right. Marty, we should let you get back to work, but thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick, could you?
They ended up drawing a pretty good crowd to this, as it's called a community healing space here. And it's still going on. The hot meals are getting served up, which is a key piece of this puzzle here. You also have the members of Moms Demand Action for Gun Control in America. And you can see over there Seattle Police, including Detective Denise Bolden, who's also known as Detective Cookie, who's been out here and a big supporter. And this is Shannon Mayo. She is the community violence, I've already gotten it wrong. Community gun violence prevention lead for the Greater Seattle chapter of Moms Demand Action. Bright red shirts with the sign to match right over here. And at this event, giving away free cookies. That'll get people's attention too.
That's why we do it.
But Shannon, the bigger thing is, what is the message that you're trying to send by coming out here?
Well, our message is we have to support these community-based groups because truly they know what it is to keep their communities safe, but time and time again they've been under-resourced and they're constantly fighting tooth and nail for that next funding cycle, and our goal is to raise awareness around the work that they're doing and then show up where they need us. So if they say we want to do a community safety event, we join them because we believe that the work they're doing is important and we believe that they're the ones that know how to keep their community safe. And so we look to them really as a way to connect with the community and help.
Okay, so I'm assuming there's another part of that message here. Obviously, the overarching message for Moms Demand Action is let's reel it in, right?
Okay, so Moms Demand Action, here are the areas in which we dabble in a big way. Legislation, elections, suicide prevention. We have safe schools initiatives and safe storage guidance. And then we also have an Everytown Survivor Network, which is a network that offers resources and connection to survivors of gun violence.
That's fabulous. How would you say the effort is going so far?
Well, I think overall we're making a lot of progress in this state with legislation, but obviously the gun violence is real and it's happening in this broader area, Seattle and Puget Sound, a lot more often, and that's scary.
Well, and you would think in a state like Washington, where it's heavily majority Democrats in Olympia, that it would be easier to pass gun legislation, but it faces some real resistance before it even gets passed, and then it gets passed and it's challenged in the court. I mean, how do you battle that?
We stick to it, and we hope that luckily our AG right now has has assured us that he has a pretty strong case to defend these policies. So we're hopeful that remains true.
Yeah, absolutely. So what have these folks said about you coming out to join them? Like, what's been their reaction to you coming out and being a part of this event?
The local community group that's here, Southeast Network Safety Net. Well, they've been so welcoming to us. They've asked us to come since the beginning. At first, we were like, do you just want us to drop off some brownies, or how can we help? And we heard time and time again, especially from young folks working within Southeast Network Safety Net, that they wanted us to be here, they wanted us to wear our red shirts, and they wanted us to show up. And that's been awesome. It's been really eye-opening, I think, for many of our volunteers to look through a lens that some of us don't organically have. What it is like to live in the Rainier Beach neighborhood, what it is like to live within a community where literally it feels like everyone is a gun violence survivor. It's someone's brother, it's someone's cousin, it's someone's best friend. And I've never really been in a space like that before, where it's to that degree. And so it makes me think with a different perspective when we're thinking about legislation, when we're thinking about funding models from the city council or county council. It makes us have a broader, more educated lens for thinking for the entire community versus just for what part of town we may live in.
And you're out here with obviously no fear, even though this is a space that, I mean, a month ago was not the only time it's seen violence.
It's not that there's no fear. When I'm here, though, I do feel relatively safe. I've always felt, there's been maybe one time where I was, questioning what's happening right now. The car chase broke out, but I mostly, everyone here is so lovely to be with and chat with that I always find it to be a really enriching time, and I always come out of it feeling like very enthusiastic about the work ahead and what it's going to take to keep this neighborhood safe.
Indeed. Shannon Mayo with Moms Demand Action. Thanks, Shannon. Really appreciate it. This is Seattle Police Detective Denise Bolden, also known as Detective Cookie, who promises me that she'll teach a 52-year-old man how to play chess, which has also been a big boost for the community. But Detective Cookie, let's talk about this event here. I mean, you've been a supporter of it. It's not the first time I've seen you out here on this very spot. Why is it so important for you to be out here in uniform and showing your support?
Well, first of all, the Southeast Network Safety Net or Safety Committee, this has been going on for years. It's been very, very positive. We've had an incident where there was a shooting and a couple people got shot. Maybe, I believe 2 or 3 people got shot. And that was a horrible event. Because like I said, this has never happened before. It's been so positive. So today was pretty much a healing space today, community healing space for that incident that occurred. Thank God nobody lost their life in that. But for a few weeks they took off. They didn't come here because this was a spot. Every Friday they would come and feed people great food, hot dinners, and give out other kind of resources. And so when this incident happened, this shooting, they took off approximately 3 weeks, maybe 4. And today was their first day coming back. So it was more of a celebration to bring the community back together to the healing spot, which is right here at the Rainier Beach Safeway parking lot, in the back end of the parking lot. And we had many community people came to this event in support. We had the Moms Against Violence. We had gun violence people here. We had the Boys and Girls Club of King County executives. They were here. Then we had several resources booths set up. And we also had the Seattle Police Department was here in support, just to let them know we're here for whatever you need. And this is an event that I used to come to way before the shooting. So this was natural for me to just pop up sometimes and be here and celebrate and just have fun with the people who's putting this event on and the people who are coming for resources and coming to get a meal. So I think today was very positive. It was wonderful to see people coming back together. It was good to see that people wasn't afraid and they were making a statement that we're not going to be afraid to be in our community. We're not going to be afraid to come here to this very spot, the healing spot, where such a negative outcome happened 3-4 weeks ago. No, they are turning this back into the positive space that is meant to be and that is going to continue to be. So every Friday they're going to be here, and today is a great showing of how the community supports them being here, how Safeway supports the people being here, and the various organizations who provided food for this event and for several of the other events. So yes, I felt this was a great success, and I feel that it's going to continue to be a great success because we're taking back our communities. Not just here, but we're beginning to take back our community. And this particular spot here is right across the street from the Detective Cookie's Chess Club. Excuse me, I said Detective Cookie's Chess Club, excuse me. It's right across the street from the Detective Cookie's Chess Park. If you look over to your right, there's my park, right there. And for something like that to happen right across from my park. That is just crazy. But we want to see this positive thing happening at this park. As a matter of fact, on September 9th at the Detective Cookies Chess Park, we're going to be installing
Welcome to Safeway. This security system was installed for the safety of our customers and associates.
Well, and that's an important thing too. That goes off about once every 15 minutes or so. I timed it one day.
And you know what? I think that warning is good to have because it makes people kind of feel safe too.
Well, and this parking lot's been trouble over the years.
Yes. So September 9th, we're going to be installing a peace pole at the Detective Cookies Chess Park. On the sponsors are the Rotary Club. So we are happy. On September 1st, it's going to be an event. We're going to have free food. People are going to be out playing chess. But we're going to install the peace pole and more fitting right across from the peace circle that we have every Friday here at the Safeway parking lot.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you know, you touched on another thing when you talked about taking back the neighborhoods. How valuable is it for you and your colleagues to have these community partners out there, playing their part and on the street every day and talking to people and trying to encourage them to take a different path?
Well, it's very important. It's very important that our officers, have the opportunity to get out of their cars and interact with people, not just drive past, but get out of your cars and interact with youth. And so we don't want the youth to be afraid of us. When they see us, we want to say, oh, that's Detective Cookie, or that's Officer Lucas, or something like that. So we encourage the officers to participate in these community events. And most of the times the officers are in some kind of way participating. Like I participate in several community festivals. I just bring in tables and putting chess boards on the tables, and it's full with people playing chess or wanting to learn how to play chess. And like today at the event, as you notice, we have other officers out here as well, interacting with people, getting to see the community in a positive way. And not only that, the community members are seeing officers in a positive way. Not just me, everybody's used to me, because I've done that from day one of my career. Being from Chicago, raised in the projects of Chicago, I know what it's like to be surrounded by gang members trying to get you to join the gang, people trying to get you to smoke, do drugs, people trying to get me to sell drugs, people trying to get me into prostitution. I know how that feels, and I know how important it is to say no and have somebody maybe to teach you how to better say no and stick to your no's. So that's what I want other officers and myself to be able to do when we're around people in various community events. It's very important. They need to get to know us, and we need to get to know them in a positive way, not just when something happens that's negative. Now all of a sudden the police is called, the police shows up. We got to interact together when fun stuff is going on.
See, you just made me think of the perfect Detective Cookie bumper sticker. Say no to gangs and yes to chess.
That's right. That looks wonderful. I had someone actually from the North End stated they wanted a Detective Cookies chess park in the North End, and they want to work with me about seeing if that can happen. So I would love to see that, have parks, Detective Cookies chess parks all over Seattle. Another positive activity for kids to interact with. And with chess, you don't have to be the biggest, the tallest. And I tell people, chess is a sport. It's a sport where you don't have to be the biggest, the tallest, the fastest, the strongest. You just show up and you play. You don't even have to know the person's language. You just show up, and people become friends over a game of chess, and they didn't know each other. Now they're meeting every other week or every week just to play chess.
I love that. And you know where else they need them is Everett and Tacoma.
Yes.
We need to expand you.
Totally agree. Watch, I had someone from Alaska call me, asked if I can help them put together a Detective Cookies chess park, or teach them or show them how to start a chess club. And that was one of the chiefs of police down in Alaska wanted to find out how they could start a Detective Cookie's chess club, but it may not be called Detective Cookie. It'll probably be called the Alaska Chess or something. Who knows? I don't know. But it's a lot of interest in doing chess because a lot of times people think our kids or kids of color don't want to play chess, don't want to learn how to play chess, but that's not true. Because I wanted to do basketball, put together a basketball game when I was asked to put something together for the kids. And it was the kids, the teenagers, who told me, no, we're not all just about basketball. When I asked them what would they like to see in the community, they said chess. They would like to have a chess tournament. So I put together a chess tournament. A very small chess tournament where only out of 20-something kids that said they wanted, teenagers said they wanted to play chess, out of 20-something teenagers, only about 3 knew how to play chess. And that made me figure out how I can find some time to hire an instructor to teach chess to the kids, because I didn't know how to play chess at the time. So I hired an instructor to teach chess, and the rest is history. 16 years later, chess is very successful. The kids love it. We have a chess park. It's wonderful. And with saying that, I want to say it's so important that people get out. Get out and create something. Give kids something to do, because if you don't give them something positive to do, they are going to find something else, or someone else is going to find something for them to do, and it may be something negative. So you don't want that. Like this peace circle that we have here at the Rainier Beach Safeway. They need tons of volunteers. Just come, bring stuff. If you can't come and stay, bring some food, donate some food, bring water, do something. And I must say, I'm just very glad to be working with the community outreach unit with the Seattle Police Department, because it allows me to do these things. You know, we had a police department that knows what community service is, and they know how important outreach is. And I must give that to our chief. He is 100% on doing community outreach, and it's very important that, you know, it continues and we embrace that. And I think, you know, a lot of us, we're doing that. We're here for the community. Whenever somebody wants me to participate or come to their events, all they have to do is get in touch with me, and mostly, if I'm not out of town, I'll be there.
I love that. And you know, that kind of brings me back to the last thing I wanted to ask you before I let you get back to it. Because another thing you said was that there was a lot of people out here today without fear. What do you say to the people who maybe wanted to come out here or would like to come to one in the future, but they might be a little afraid to come out?
Okay, I think some of those people are afraid because of what took place a few weeks ago when they had the shooting. They're afraid to come out here because they think, oh, it might happen again. But we can't give in to the fear that criminals are out here and gonna hurt us. The thing is, the more people who are showing up doing positive things, it's gonna make it less likely that the criminal element is gonna wanna keep moving, you know, and not come, because there's too many positive things going on. And then who knows, maybe some kind of way we can bring them in. You know, some people, they know who needs help. They know who's out there doing things they shouldn't be doing. Maybe, you know, someone can bring them to this event and they can see, wow, you know, this is what I needed. This is what I needed to change my life. You know, I just needed to hear Miss Marty speak, or I needed to hear someone or see someone that I can talk to that looks like me. And maybe, you know, I had tons of people coming up to me as a police officer telling me that, oh, you taught me anti-drugs when I was in the 5th grade. You did officer friendly when I was in 2nd grade. And now they're here and showing me their daughters or their sons and telling me that they're nurses or they have their own business now. And it's just amazing that I have seen a couple generations of people that I used to teach when they were in elementary school, and they still remember me. They tell me they got their certificate or their trophy from chess. It's on their wall or it's on their dresser. And so it's just so nice, and it's like homecoming. To tell you the honest truth, it's like homecoming today here. And I think that's what the people here felt like, because I felt like people was my family. I felt it was a homecoming, and you embracing your family members at this event. It was very peaceful, a lot of fun. You had music going on. You got school supplies being given out. Somebody, the moms demands action. They cooked homemade cookies, healthy homemade cookies. And it was just a lot of stuff going on, and everybody was just welcome. And I seen some homeless people came in. As a matter of fact, I was sitting down in the very chairs you and I are sitting in now, and a man sat down. He said, "I know you." And I said, "How do you know me?" He said, "From the tiny houses." He said, "You used to bring food to us at the Othello tiny house. You used to bring food every week and feed us." I said, "Yeah, I did do that." He said, "I wanted you to know that I now have my own place." He said, I have my own place, my own apartment, and I have a job, a good job." And he says he's making $20-something an hour, and he's just so happy to be on his own and not living on the streets. And then he started explaining how cold it was. You know, you're hearing firsthand how cold it is to live on the street. And him saying even though he had a blanket, it was so cold and freezing that it was very hard to even sleep. But anyway, that was a great success story of somebody that I knew that was on the street, that was homeless, and now he's a success story. So.
And it's just another example of why events like this have such great value.
And this is the place I got to see him again. And this is the place I got to see people I haven't seen in 5, 7, 10 years, right here. And like I said, this is like a homecoming. And people are beginning to know each other. And the people that's here, anybody who came to this event, they know if they needed assistance or help, they could come to somebody here. One of these organizations they could come to, and especially the Southeast Network. They could come to them and they will get the help they need. Because I know on many occasions I have referred people to the Southeast Network safety team. I have referred people and asked, "Can you please just help this person?" And they're like, "Cookie, I don't know, you know, our capacity is," but they always come through. They always take every single person I have referred to them, they have taken that person and assisted them in some kind of way. But again, now our new captain, we got a new captain at the South Precinct. He got a chance to experience this ordeal. He was here, and it was just nice to see him here and for him to see what it's really like to be at this peace circle, to be at this community healing safe place. And he embraced it. He was very active with the community members. And that's Captain Brown. He's been doing a great job from what I can see. And I just hope he continues the great interaction that he's doing with the community. You know, we look forward to doing more things with him.
Excellent. All of it fabulous. Seattle Police Detective Cookie Bolden. Thanks, Detective. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell made it to the event tonight, too. They're just starting to wrap up, but he did at least make it.
I don't even remember the last time we seen each other. I know, and now when I seen you walk up, I'm like, shit.
You guys stood in the same parking lot after that shooting happened. What's it like being back here today?
Well, to be candid with you, this is beautiful for people to realize that even in the wake of tragedy, this is home. This is where we're going to save lives. This is where we're going to protect our own community. So I have some really passionate and committed folks here protecting their community, and we have to just get back out there and let everyone know that this is a safe place. We're going to build it to be a safe place, and we'll, from a policy standpoint, we'll think about what policies need to be changed, but this is a great investment for our community protecting themselves. And you see, and you see a collaborative effort between police officers and community. Now that really gets to the heart of what we're trying to do. We have to rebuild community trust with our police department, and that's very intentional. You have to be present, you have to be here, and the community has to trust you, and you have to earn it, and that's what you also see happening here.
I know a lot of people we talked about here talk about just how great things like this are for the community. Is there any talk of adding city funds to make sure programs like this are fun?
Yeah, we're looking at all these investments, and yes, we will use city funds. A lot of these groups are funded by city funds. We have a tough budget year, but my primary charter purpose is to protect people, and our administration takes that most seriously. So yes, we'll continue investing in these organizations, and we'll have all of the organizations work amongst each other to see what best practices are being developed. So what's historically, you've had different groups in different areas doing different things, and under our One Seattle approach, we don't want them to compete against each other for precious dollars. We want them to work collaboratively together, and that's what you see, and that will continue to be our strategy.
Now, Your Honor, you have made no secret of the fact that you are also were a kid from these same Seattle streets. What does it mean to you to see community groups like this come together and say, you know, this is going to be our space?
Well, this is why I run for office, because I have credibility with people from these streets. They know that my goal, my passion is to protect them, make sure their babies grow to self-optimize into fine human beings. And even if you're an adult and you get off the beaten path a little bit, that through mentoring, through coaching, through education, through training, we can help you achieve what you want to achieve. So when you see many people here who've come from some pretty tough pasts, they will admit that they are here to protect their community and learn from their past. And so that's what One Seattle is all about, is trying to build, bring out the best in everybody, and that's what you see here. Even after a violent act of guns that, in the wrong hands, basically committing murder, that kind of tenacity that we see. Even in the face of that, they come and protect the community. That's our One Seattle approach.
So it's also no secret, this has been a rough stretch, not just for Seattle, but for the entire region. And we're already doing things like this, and you've got a couple of programs going, but I mean, it just seems in a lot of places that it's either continuing, not getting any better, or maybe even getting worse. What else you got in your back pocket to try to tamp down this violence?
Well, I think you hit it on the head that in our country we're seeing unprecedented levels of violence and gun misuse, hatred, and so part of our strategy that we emphasize in the Downtown Activation Plan are who else can help, who else is willing to help, what are the investments. We'll look at the faith-based community as an example, that many people are sick and unhealthy and they're doing things to treat their addiction, committing crimes. How do we use our health organizations, primarily funded by the state and by the county, because the City of Seattle is not a continuum of care organization. How do we partner with them to make sure people are getting treated? How do we make sure that we make lawful and constitutional arrests when people are threatening others? I mean, it's all coming together on how we help, we assist, we treat, and how we have to make arrests when we have to. And so I'm not afraid to say that a compassionate approach often will entail arrests as well. And my community understands that, they know that. And it's all about, again, people feeling safe in this great city of Seattle.
I just had one more. We missed the self-imposed deadline with this drug possession law. Any progress with that?
Well, the city council is on break right now. That every year they take 2-week recess, and so I anticipate as soon as they get back, which I believe is about a week, they'll address it. They'll have a committee, and hopefully they will vote and pass the law that we proposed.
Is this one of their top priorities?
I believe it is. I think it is. I've talked to a few council members while they're on break, and I think it is their priority.
All right, thanks, Your Honor.